Did everyone have a phase of their childhood where they wanted to be an archaeologist? Because I sure did. And I still want to do that.
I feel like I'd be fun on a dig. I'd bring the music. I'd be like, let's find this bone. Woo, woo. Let's change the world. Let's find some stuff that no one knew before.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Goddesshangs.
Episode number 19.
Woo! 19 episodes.
I know.
That means next week is 20. So how many months is that?
5?
5 months? 4
what?
months? 5 months.
What?
What? Wait, no. We've been doing this for 5 months.
Did we start November?
December, right?
December, yeah, January, February, March, April.
Oh my God, I feel like we've been doing it for like 2 weeks.
I know.
Not 2 weeks, but like 2 months.
I know.
Almost half a year.
Yay!
Wow.
It's almost our 6-month anniversary.
It's very exciting.
We're getting serious.
So if you're watching, you may have noticed that we look extra cute today. Mm-hmm. Because, well, I don't know if you can tell, but we are wearing matching. It's the same exact dress, but I'm wearing black and Juliet's wearing white.
Yes. I'll walk forward for the viewers to see the pattern.
Oh yeah, we'll both get up really quick. One moment, listeners.
Whee! Golden stars, black and white, and matching space buns.
All right, we got that out of the way. Great. What's new with you, Juliet?
Well, first of all, I'm obsessed with the matching dresses. I was at a store yesterday and they had these matching dresses that I almost bought for us. And they both said Goddess 88. And if it had said Goddess 91, like no question, I would have bought it.
But 88 is like our favorite number.
Okay, I'll go back.
That's the abundance number.
I'll send you a picture. I'll swing by there again. But we're very into matchy. Mm-hmm. So this
from
is
now on, every episode we just have a brand new matching outfit. I'm here for it.
We can never repeat outfits. No, you'll probably see me wear this at least 5 more times.
This is now our new uniform. We're just gonna wear this every single week. I'd be okay with that.
I would say I wouldn't hate that. It would make my decision making a lot easier.
I know, it is hard.
But let's see. Matching outfits. I have in the moon earrings, so I feel very cosmic today.
Oh yeah.
And the moon necklace.
Mine has now arrived, but we send things to Craig's dad's P.O. box, and Craig's going to his dad's tonight. So he'll go get my earrings, so next week I can wear mine. I just have gold hoops in today.
It's so pretty.
I'm anxiously waiting. Thank you again, Candace Raven's Eye Crystal, for replacing my immediately lost earring of the cutest earrings ever.
I love it.
Another thing we're gonna match.
Here's what's new. Sadie and I and my neighbor Vivian and my boyfriend Victor had a girls plus Victor night at my place, and we had the best time.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
We watched RuPaul's Drag Race, and we each got our own special feather boa.
We should next week. Let's wear the feather boas.
Okay, I'm gonna insert a
make
photo.
A huge mess.
Here's a photo of us in our feather boas. The next morning, it looked like 5 colorful birds had exploded in my living room. So that was,
oh my God, it was insane.
That was a lot to clean up, but it was worth it. And we also did spells. Sadie brought little jars of all of her like herbs and petals and leaves and candles. Yes. And Victor actually sat down. If you guys have been listening from the beginning, you know that Victor is always like, that's fine, do your witchy thing. Like, I'll be in the office. And
yeah, like that's cute, that's nice, but no thanks.
He sat down and did it with us.
He was so cute. He was asking like such great questions. Like, do I do it this way or this way? And then he was like, the best, cutest thing he said was, is this like a birthday wish? Like, am I allowed to tell you guys what my spell was for? And I was like, if you want to share it, you can. It doesn't have to be like.
We're like, what is your wish, honey? So it was so fun. And then we took the candles that we made and we put them in our shower and we burned them on the new moon, full of our wishes. And they burned for like at least 35 hours until they went out. It was really cool to keep going into my bathroom and just this beautiful candlelight was flickering. So that was like for sure the most exciting thing that happened to me in the past week. And then also our next Girls Plus Victor night is Shrek Marathon.
Yep. You heard that right.
This weekend. And I made Shrek ears. I'm going to also drop that photo right here because I could have ordered them online for $13, but I made all 4 of these for like $2.75. If you'd like to order a custom Shrek headband from me, they are $99. No, I'm kidding.
We love a crafty queen.
I'll just tell you how I made it. It's very easy. If you want to order one, too bad. Make it yourself.
Below for the instructional video.
So it's just been like a creative, crafty, fun week. And last week, but when you watch this episode, last week was Friendship Week on Goddesshangs. So welcome all the new friends. And this week is Alien Week.
Oh, Boo, are you an alien? You can't see her in the shot, but she's sitting right next to Juliet.
Boo.
Honestly, I think she is an alien. She's always looking at the sky.
I could see it.
Making weird noises.
I could see it. You're so pretty. You're the stinky pretty. No, do not eat the tissue. No, and not go for your tummy.
Oh, there she is. Hi, cute girl.
What's
the audio
new with
listeners
you?
are like, what's going on? I get so distracted. What's new with me? Thanks for asking, Juliet. What's new with me? So I've been doing a lot of releasing work.
Okay.
That has been really good. So like ever since I had COVID at Christmas time, I've had a really, really difficult time concentrating and focusing and like then that, you know, kind of like waterfalls into like being motivated because I get frustrated and all that stuff. So I've been kind of telling myself this story of like, oh, I just can't. I can't focus. I can't, whatever. I can't do it. So I was like, enough of that. I'm done. We're going to figure this out. So I started using a tool that my mom actually taught me when I was younger, and my like grandpa's all about it. He's been doing it for like, I don't know, 20 years. Maybe not that long. I don't know how long it's been around, but EFT tapping technique. Mm-hmm. And so I've been using that lately, and so in both my courses in Discover Divine Purpose and Money Mindset Magic, I kind of briefly go over it to show people. But I hadn't really like been doing it consistently enough where I was like doing a deep dive into it in the courses. It was just kind of like surface level, like this is a way you can release, like here you go. And here's some resources to learn more about it. But I'm like kind of recommitting myself to it, and it's been so helpful. And so boo just look at the microphone. It's been hugely helpful. If anyone's interested in learning more, I think so Gary Craig is the creator of EFT. I think his website is just like EFT.com. I don't know, I'll link it below in the show notes. So you can kind of teach yourself there, or oh boo, that's so nice, she's sitting down in Juliet's lap. If you're part of one of my courses, I'm going to be, or if you've been in my course in the past, I'm going to be adding a lot more about it in, because I'm training myself, or not training myself. I am getting further, deeper training on it so I can be more confident leading it for you guys. So that's a very exciting breakthrough for my courses and my, you know, future students and past students, because you all get access to that, and just for myself. And it's been pretty crazy how physically I've been feeling how much I'm releasing. Like I've been getting headaches, but they're like, I don't know how to say, like they're not bad headaches. Like I know it's something good coming out of me.
Okay.
I have this kink in my neck right now that I know is something else coming, like I'm releasing. I've been like, it sounds funny, but I've been like burping a lot. Especially after I do the tapping, I'm like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Like I can't stop burping. Like Craig and I were laughing because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, no, I know, like that's a release. And like yawning nonstop. It's been really cool to like get the physical symptoms of like just releasing all of this energy. And it's helped a lot. I've been getting a lot more work done. I've been a lot more focused. So for sure, like COVID had a physical effect on my brain. You know, it was like I had a fever for a long time when I was sick and whatever.
Yeah.
But just making the decision to like recommit myself to the tools that I have and just deciding like, okay, no more, like I'm done with this. I'm not living like this any longer. Like it worked. And like, I know I teach people that, but sometimes I fall off the wagon a little bit because, you know, like something derails you, like getting really sick.
Right.
That's okay. And I was trying to use other tools before I turned to tapping. I was just trying to meditate whenever I got frustrated and stuff like that. But this was just like a huge turning point for me. It was really cool. So that was exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing? Oh, well, this one's less spiritual or whatever. I had a huge spider in my home.
I saw on your Instagram.
You guys probably all saw it.
I think it was like a wolf spider.
Okay, so I looked it up, as one does when one has a giant spider. Here's a photo of it
here's
here.
The spider.
Because it had 3 white spots on it. It was big.
Oh.
It said it was a daring jumping spider.
Oh, that's not the kind of spider you want crawling above your head. One that's a daring
It was so
jumper.
fast. It was so fast. Like I was going to like suck it up in the vacuum because I didn't know what else to do because I couldn't like, and it would just run. It was so fast. And Craig was gone this weekend, and he's a big baby about spiders too, but like he still does it because I'm like, absolutely, I'm not doing that. And so it was like hours, and my upstairs neighbor Will, he doesn't really like live at his place. He stays with his girlfriend most of the time, and this is kind of like their sort of like weekend fun place, which is cool for them. But I was just like, Will, please come back. Like, I'm like, I'll ask him, he's so nice, he'll help me. So finally he came home, and I was so embarrassed. I went out there, he was out in the garage. I was like, there's a spider, and I was like, it's a really big spider, otherwise I would muster up the courage, but could you please come get it? And he kind of laughed, and then he came in and he was like, oh shit, that is a big spider. Like I think he thought I was like, you know, exaggerating, like, oh,
There's a daddy long leg.
yeah, we can't get it. Most spiders I honestly don't even like care if they just chill in the house, if they're just small and like whatever. This was it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Oh gosh.
But they're not. Boo's just grooming herself now. She's having the time of her life. But they're not
Very
poisonous
happy.
to humans, I learned, but it was still.
I mean, so what? You still don't
care.
want it in your house.
And so then he tried to do the whole like a bowl and a piece of paper, you know, to take it outside and save it, but it was in the kitchen above my sink, and it like freaked out, you know, and fell straight into the sink. So we just turned on the water and turned on the garbage disposal. So then I held a little spider funeral. I lit a candle and I said a little prayer for him.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Because spiders are a sign of abundance coming. So I feel guilty murdering them, but also no.
When we first moved into our apartment, I think I might have shared this. We had a daddy longlegs that sort of greeted us, and we named him Herbert, and he stayed in this one spot for at least 6 weeks. And we just didn't suck him up or anything because we're like, whatever, that's, you know, he was here first.
Like a daddy long legs I don't care about. Like do your thing, dude.
And then he disappeared for a couple days, and then he came back, and then he disappeared again, and then I was like cleaning out all like the dust from the corners, and I was like, oh, there. And as I noticed it was him, I sucked him up into the vacuum, and I was like, Victor, Herbert. I'm so sorry, I killed our spider friend.
I killed Herbert.
And he was like, you did what? So yeah, I felt bad about that.
Oh my god.
Boo has her little tongue out.
Oh, you angel.
Boo, you're too precious for this world. The other day, oh my god, I completely freaked Craig out.
What happened?
We were talking in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, it was a tiny one, but a little spider started crawling up out of his shirt. You know, this little dip in your neck right here? It was like crawling into that spot. And I was like, and I just went, I'm going to pull the mic away. Ah, spider! Like I screamed, and I'm just looking at him, and he doesn't even know. And he just rips off all of his clothes, like, and runs out in the driveway. And he's like, what? Where is this on me? Freaking out. I was like, it was on your neck. It was just a harmless little thing, but it was, where did it come from? How long was it in his shirt? It was so creepy.
That's bizarre.
It's just crawling out. I was like, it was bad.
Every time my sister and I see spiders, we go, oh, spiderus.
I've seen Mr. Cat chase down and eat a spider and a cockroach. Not here, our old apartment. I had a little
good job, mister. Oh, he's taking a nice nap. I love that they came in here for the recording. They like to be close to you.
They follow me around everywhere. It's so cute. Like when I'm in the bathroom, I'll open the door and I'll be like, oh, because they're both like just staring up at me like up against the door.
Your little puppies. Your little puppy cats.
And when I sit in my computer chair, they both sit on like the base of the chair. I have to be careful not to like roll back without checking if they're there because they both.
Your babies.
You guys
want to take a little nap, sweet. Senorita?
She says, not till I'm done bathing myself with my stinky breath.
She's been grooming me too. Thank you. Thank you. She doesn't know where she ends and I begin.
Oh my gosh.
That's love.
That's love.
So, the other new thing was I got food poisoning like 2 or 3 days ago.
No, I had a migraine over the weekend and then you got food poisoning. What's the deal?
I don't know. I'd never had it before and it's gnarly.
It really drains you.
But then Diana, who's been one of our guests before, North Node Coach, yeah. She commented and she said, you know what, maybe you were like purging out something spiritual as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a nice way to look at it. I wasn't thinking about that when I was like lying on the tile floor for 8 hours in agony. But
you know what made you sick?
I think it was bad chicken at a restaurant. Yeah. I called them. I let them know. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, the manager can call you back. I was like, no, I'm not even calling to complain or like ask for anything. I'm just don't serve this chicken to other people.
Take that off the shelf.
Yeah, put it in the trash. So, yeah, that's all that's new with me. Like food poisoning, Shrek ears, feather boas, being invested in the journey of Sadie's spider visitor.
Yeah, that was fun.
And diving into today's topic. Aliens.
So what I wanted to find that I didn't know if it was out yet or not, and it's not out yet, is that the Pentagon announced that they will be releasing like papers, like I'm assuming similar to like the CIA papers that we broke down the other week. They will be releasing reports like that in the next like 6 months, but they haven't released them yet.
Okay.
There is one incident that they confirmed that they like studied and were like, yeah, this is a UFO of like there's like an orb over a Navy ship, and there's a video of that. We can like link it below.
Okay.
So that has been confirmed like by the government to be like a real video, because of course there's so much floating around. It's easy enough to fake stuff, and it's easy enough to claim something that is real is fake, like it goes both ways. So that's really cool. But we kind of took a turn to what I originally thought was going to be like more like breaking down different like evidential things from the government, and we ended up watching some documentaries that like go back to ancient aliens and like the history of the world, and the sort of proof of alien life, and like how it helped like humans develop into the civilizations we have today. So I watched 2 and Juliet watched 1. So I watched one called, I didn't write it down. One was called, I think it was just called Ancient Aliens of the World. That one was okay. Don't necessarily recommend.
Okay.
I'll still write down what it was below, but I was telling Juliet, like, it was everything it said was very interesting, but it was just kind of saying stuff. It didn't really give you like, for example, look at this. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like talking at you, even though everything that it was saying like made sense. Some of it was a little out there, but I was like, yeah, but can you show me a little something? And it was all like stock video and photos that didn't completely go with what they were talking about, which drives me crazy in documentaries. I'm like, maybe you didn't have the budget, but at least try to find stock photos that fit better or whatever. You know what I mean? It was just kind of, but it was still good. And I still have some interesting notes from that. And then we both watched Chariot of the Gods, which I thought it was a really good documentary. It's from 1999. I thought, wow, this is really fantastic. Not that the 90s had bad films or something, but just like, I don't know, we know even more now, but I thought, oh, how much they knew at this point was like pretty incredible.
We both were very diligent in paying attention. You should see my drawings.
Oh yeah, I remember
that I did. But the first thing that the movie said was, we know, or at least at the time of this film, we knew that there are 50 million stars that could support life. And when you really like take in that number, just if that was all we shared with you today, like, by the way, there's 50 million stars that we know could support life. Goodbye. Like, that's still mind blowing.
Statistically, it's more unlikely that there is not other life out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's next to impossible that we're the only ones. And when someone says they don't believe in aliens, I'm like, you're stupid.
Well, it's so funny because
science.
This was what blew my mind more than anything else. This is what I wanted to talk about today, and I wrote it big. Okay, check this out. So the film talks about, there's so much that I want to say, I don't even know where to begin, so I'm just going to jump in. It talks about the theory that aliens visited the Earth thousands of years ago. And I think all of our knee-jerk, even spiritual people or people open to, all this stuff that we love, even me, my knee-jerk is to be like, yeah, okay, like there's a little bit of a like, oh, for sure, like the aliens came down. But this is what I wrote down, which I'm going to actually insert here. We were not there. We do not know. And we're really wrong. There's this belief that we grew up like in our history classes. I always remember there's this idea that like we were like dumber then and we're progressively smarter and more aware and better now. And like, what if it instead moves in cycles? Like, think back to like ancient Greece or ancient Rome or like all these Renaissance-y times. Like, we weren't there. Like, I don't know why this is so obvious, but it never occurred to me until this documentary that it was like, yeah, we don't know. We were not there. This could have happened. The aliens could have come.
And there's actually so like that's what it broke down. There's so much like proof, not like hard proof, but just when you put the pieces together of all of these stories and art all over the world and bits of like languages of words that we have, that people that could never have communicated with each other are drawing the same types of beings. They're drawing fucking spaceships. Like, where did they come up with that?
So the first example that this movie gives, which I thought was really brilliant, was it brought up like at one time that we know of, there was an isolated group that lived like in a jungle somewhere, and they had no contact with the outside world. And then somebody in that same time period flew in on an airplane.
So it was during World War II.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so it was common for countries to find like remote islands as bases. So Craig was explaining this to me because he knew more about it.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
So that's what happened, was remote island that no one's like ever been to. There's a native community there that have never had contact with the outside world. And, let's say it's the US, or it could have been a different country, but the US is like, oh, great, like we're fighting here. We're going to do this like remote military base here. So we can keep an eye on this area of the world, whatever. So it was during World War II that happened, that they start seeing airplanes fly overhead.
And they showed this example. They told this example of like the airplane comes in, and then I guess they give like treasures and things that they have. They share them with the native people of the land. The visitors hop back in the planes and they leave. And then the people of like the indigenous people of that area all of a sudden start building straw monuments in the shape of airplanes, and they look up to the sky because it's the question why it's called Chariot of the Gods, which is so cool, is if an outsider comes to your world, do you perceive them as an enemy or as a god? And in this case, it was like, oh my, these must be gods because they speak a different language than us. They look completely different than us. They came in on a flying machine. They gave us things we'd never seen, and then they left. And they would pray for them to come back. And they sort of built a religion around this experience. And there was this philosopher or scientist, this theorist who proposed that this is how all religions began.
Yes.
Potentially. And then I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like,
yeah.
Like for every religion across time, thousands and thousands of years ago, it is possible that something came down out of the sky, an ancient alien, so to speak, showed up looking different, speaking different, hovering. There's so many stories, and we'll get into it, but that was just sort of like this, the theory that all religions began like this, legends about gods flying down from the heavens.
Yeah, that's what is so cool, is that what if we look at the Bible and instead of, and this would be the Old Testament, what if instead of reading it from the point of view of like, God, like whatever, like I'm raised Catholic, so like my view of like God that I was taught from like a Catholic point of view, or think of like what your point of view maybe if you were raised in a religion, and take a step back and read parts of the Bible. What was quoted a lot was the Book of Enoch. Was that in the one that you watched, or was that the other one I watched? I think it was the other one.
I don't remember hearing that word.
So I need to read this book in the Bible, obviously. It's in the Old Testament. It's the Book of Enoch. And they pulled so many quotes out of it, because if you just look at like the wording, the way they describe things, it's things, beings of light coming down from the sky, performing miracles, watching over us. There's all of this point to up. And so then we created, the idea of heaven. It just makes complete sense to me. Like, what if we just translated the Bible wrong? What if we just misinterpreted what the people of that time misinterpreted what they were seeing? Exactly like what the example from not that long ago, World War II, is like, of course we thought that they were a god because they had had technology greater than ours. They were smarter than us. There's examples of how these stories from all over the world in different places, in India, in Mexico, in I think one place was like Yugoslavia, these old stories of beings of light coming down, teaching humans how to like plant and grow, teaching them technology, teaching them how to build a civilization, and then leaving.
Right.
Performing miracles, like they could heal, watching over, like saying like, instead of being here, you need to go over like there's all these stories, and they're exactly the same all over the world. It makes so much sense to me that these would be indeed beings of light, but the beings of light are extraterrestrials.
I really was so blown away. So like on the same coin of we weren't there, we don't know, we brush off every single thing we read in history as like, oh, it was just a big metaphor, oh, it was just a big story, oh, everybody just had a wild imagination. And there was one example of where was it? Okay, so there was a man, I should have written down his name, who decided to take Homer's poems literally. And everybody had said, oh, they're just stories. There's no city of Troy. They're just stories. And the man went to exactly where the poem said Troy would be. And instead of passing it off his imagination, found the city of Troy. And it was
like treasures, like gold and jewels. They had a picture of his wife just draped in all of these old jewels.
And it was just this thing of like, why do we always assume that these stories are just like imaginative, whimsical tales?
And where would they have come up with it even? Like, I know even now, like, we have science fiction and books that describe out of this world, not real things, but how do all over the world consistently all of these different cultures are coming up with the same symbolism, the same stories over and over again, the same like figures in their artwork, like old pieces of art, and like even like flying saucers and stuff.
Yeah.
In like frescoes in churches and on like vases from somewhere else in the world. It's insane. I couldn't believe all of this.
I'm going to list some examples. So in the Tibetan texts called the Kanshur, there was reference to gods coming down from the sky. In India, they mentioned 6,000 years ago, vehicles that fly to great heights with a loud blast-off sound. In Baghdad, Iraq, 5,000 years ago, accounts of a man going into space and looking down, and he described the way that Earth looks from like a distance in space perfectly. And I think this was before there was an understanding of like the roundness of the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was the old, they showed on the thing like the old maps drawn, and there's no way that somebody could draw a map this accurate without looking from above, because it was like a bird's eye view.
Yes, there were these maps. We'll see if we can find them, and we'll put it here. But these were maps that there'll be a lot of inserts this episode.
Yes,
it's gonna be a little bit of work, but it'll be worth it, because you guys are gonna be like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way. Yeah. There's all these maps that are like perfect aerial bird's eye views, including like of Antarctica, which wasn't technically discovered until hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
So it's just bizarre. It's like, how come without having any aircraft, anything, how on earth are you getting these overhead perfect, like to the T maps made? The Dead Sea Scrolls talked about the arrival and departure accompanied by clouds of smoke and fire. Just all these things that remind us of like what a rocket ship is like.
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised at how this documentary changed my mind, and it was the least pushy conspiracy documentary I've ever seen in my life.
It was very factual.
Yeah.
That's why I liked this one better, because the first one was saying pretty much all the same stuff, but it was very like just talking at you, like I mentioned. And this one was like, see this and see this and see this, and I was like, oh my god.
Right. There was no fanfare, there was no drama, there was no like dramatic music.
It was like, and then wow, can you believe this?
Yeah.
It was just like, like it was almost like boring, but
I know.
so interesting.
I mean, I fell asleep at the end. I missed the last 15 minutes.
Pep it up a little.
But
one that I thought was so interesting was so I don't know if there's been more availability to enter this area since this documentary was made, but it was in it was in Mexico.
Okay.
I can't remember which site it was, but the locals do not allow very many people in at that time. They had to like ask like 8 times to enter this tomb to look at the artwork and stuff in there.
Was it Teotihuacan?
Yes, I think that was
okay.
Teotihuacan, butchering that. But anyway, so there is these like carved artworks in this tomb, and it depicts a man that is in a position like
this one killed
like
me.
This, which is exactly how an astronaut in a rocket that we currently have today, how they sit behind, and it depicts him like in a rocket ship. There's like smoke and fire behind him. He's wearing like a space suit. It's insane. We're gonna put that picture
here and compare it to,
they do a side by side of how the astronauts sit in the modern day rockets. And then there was other artwork in that too, just depicting like what could be like oxygen masks and like different things, but like space suits in rockets. And I found it interesting. They pointed out, I think, the Easter Island, and then there was somewhere else they were showing like the carvings, and they're like people have been confused by the symbolism that like these are like beaks or something, but they're like, they could be masks, like oxygen, or not necessarily oxygen masks, but they could have been. That was towards the end, I think. Maybe you missed that part.
Yeah, I was
they were showing all these different examples of old like pieces of art and sculpture and whatever that have like kind of seemed bizarre to art historians and archaeologists that find them. But they're like, what if we look at this differently? What if those are masks of the people that come down and are adjusting to like a different atmosphere? And when someone puts that in your brain and you look at it, you're like, oh, obviously that's what it is. It's incredible. And then the one that also blew me away was there was a fresco in a church in, I believe, Yugoslavia.
Okay.
That so this is like in a church, in a Christian church, and there's these two spaceships, like one on either side of the painting. There's people looking up like at the two spaceships because one's chasing the other. But there's
and Jesus is in the middle.
I think so.
Yeah, I took a picture.
They're clearly spaceships, and I'm like, man, what was going on back then? There's just spaceships whizzing around. People are like, oh my God, there they go again.
Yeah, it's Jesus on the cross, and there's spaceships above him.
Yeah, like why would they paint that? I don't know.
We'll insert that here so you can see it too. It's very strange.
Pretty incredible. And yeah, I mean, we could spend all day inserting a bunch of text. I would just recommend this documentary. It was super cool. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Chariot of the Gods.
I'll read some other things. I put, so there's Sadie just said this, ancient rock paintings of men wearing helmets and spacesuits with antenna. It's just very strange. The Istanbul maps from 1532 with exact views from above, including Antarctica, which was not discovered till hundreds of years later. Then it talked about the pyramids and how if we like did the math, it technically would have taken 664 years or 30 generations to build the pyramids. So the fact that it was like done in a much shorter amount of time is very strange, and people still can't quite wrap their head around it.
We don't have the technology today to make that.
Right.
And again, you would have to, the way their space, I think we've talked, I think when Craig was on.
Oh yeah, the distance.
We talked about it. The distance between the pyramids are so perfectly distanced, one to show like equidistance of the planets, I believe it was the planets, and then also if you look at a motherboard or of like a computer, like a computer chip, it's the same layout. So it's like whatever that means, I don't know, but there's no way they could have done that math and placed them so perfectly if they didn't have a bird's eye view, if they weren't up above and planning this.
Well, yeah, so they said if you multiply the dimensions of the pyramid by like 1 billion or something, 1 million or 1 billion, it's the exact distance from the earth to the sun. And there was other math magic that I didn't write down. The
equidistance, is spot on.
It was crazy.
As well as, I thought it was interesting. So I learned that about the pyramids before, but when they were talking about inside, in King Tut's tomb, Tutankhamun, whatever, we're going to call him King Tut, which is over 300 feet into the pyramid, like down. And it's, the walls are all painted very ornately. And there's no evidence of soot or ash for like torches burning.
Right, or like candles, they could see what they were doing down there.
Yeah. So they say like, they must have had a complicated system of mirrors to like flash the daylight in, but that 300 feet of mirrors, that's crazy.
Right.
Like the other theory is that like alien, like extraterrestrials were here with some sort of technology that they were able to bring light into the tomb to do all those paintings. And then again, there was all this stuff in the paintings and whatever, but I thought that was super interesting.
I did too.
And what was the other, was I thinking of?
Well, then they got into like the statues and the carvings, like all over the world, like 1,000-ton rocks that were moved for like over 100 miles. Like, how on earth was that done? 400 tons, the tallest obelisk in Egypt. How did they do that? It was moved 185 miles. In Zimbabwe, there was the ghost town with like the perfect bricks. Like, they were almost made in a factory. Like, they were perfect.
And then they had the same kind of brick wall like 3,000 miles away that they would have had to have been trained by like the same person.
Right, like the 12-sided.
Very unique way of making a wall with no mortar. So the bricks just perfectly, it was like laser cut perfect. No mortar to fill in any gaps. It was just, and they were very irregularly shaped.
Right.
They weren't all perfect like squares. So yeah, that was bizarre. That was so cool.
Let's see, what else did I write down? 10,000 BC, there were the cave drawings. It almost looked like a big guy in a spacesuit with a round head and almost like one hole in the middle. And then I put LOL a kid. Like, what if it was just a kid that just just drew?
But they have the same ones all over the world.
I
which
know.
was, I mean, like, these people, these ETs are just visiting different areas of the world. They have to be.
Then it talked about Mexico and how the Aztecs tracked the planets with like such precision, and how they figured out that the calendar year was 165 and 1/4 days, and just like how brilliant they were, and how perhaps that was done with some help. And then I wanted to drop in that when I was in college, I studied anthropology, linguistics, and archaeology. And I wrote, invite us on your archaeological digs. We want to come.
Comment below. Did everyone have a phase of their childhood where they wanted to be an archaeologist? Because I sure did. And I still want to do that. I mean,
I got into, when I was deciding which school to transfer to, one of my choices was to go to Santa Cruz as an anthropology major. And then I stayed local. I did UCLA, but I considered it. Because I feel like I'd be fun on a dig. I'd bring the music. I'd be like, let's find this bone. Woo, woo. Let's change the world. Let's find some stuff that no one knew before.
Yeah.
Astronaut and drawing, sitting position. That's what you talked about.
Yeah.
And then what Sadie said, and then I fell asleep.
And I'm done.
And then what Sadie said about Easter Island. Okay, first of all, I think we've all seen pictures of Easter Island, like, oh, there's statues everywhere. I did not understand how tall they were, because you can tell me something is 10 feet, 65 feet, 400 feet, and I go, that's nice. My brain doesn't do that. So when they said, oh, they're 65 feet tall, I'm like, oh, cool. You know, is that how big a house is? Like, I have no understanding. 65 feet?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's as tall as these statues. They're huge. Basically, here's the statue, and here's the person next to it.
Yeah, I guess. It's 60 feet taller than you. Well, we're taller than 5 feet, but approximately. Wow, yeah.
So I was like, how did they get these, like, all over?
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. I really loved this documentary.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about the other one, because it was very aligned with that. But like I said, it had less factual, but it had some interesting things. That this is a little more like out there, but I think there's something to it. So have you come across like the different kinds of, or not kinds, like the different, how do you say it, races of extraterrestrials that there are said to be? I don't know if it's races is the right word. The different like kinds.
There's one that starts with an A.
Arcturians.
And I learned that when we had Tiffany here.
Oh yeah.
Higher self guidance. That's all I know.
Okay, I don't know all of them, and I'm not like an expert on this, but there are quite a few like people out there that channel like some of these, because they're light beings, and they are very like supportive and loving and want to support humans. Arcturians being one of them, the Pleiadians being one of them. And then there's the Reptilians, and from my understanding, there's like kind of like two different factions, I don't know, two different sort of like communities of reptilians. So there's this reptilians that are said to be not really on the human side. They're sort of seedy, not very supportive of us. Some go so far to say that they control like the world and control like the highest forms of government and things like that. I don't know about all that. I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of giving you context as to like what I want to talk about. There's also said to be like a reptilian race that is not this. I want to make the distinction because when I say reptilian, I think, well, people that are interested in aliens have probably mostly heard about this like dark side of it.
Okay.
But I learned about this positive side of the reptilian.
Even the bad guy has a good heart.
And I actually watched an episode on Gaia about someone who used to work for the government. Gaia, you gotta figure some shit out because talk to the people that you have on. No facial expression, completely monotone. And I'm like... it's unbearable to watch, but what they're saying is really interesting.
I'm like a personality coach.
I'm watching it like this on my face, like because it's just like they're saying the most interesting things in the world, and they're like, yeah, I used to work with reptilian aliens and they're actually much smarter than us, but they have this religion and sometimes they, you know, it's just,
maybe they are reptilians. My gosh.
Maybe he was part reptilian. I don't know. But anyways, he was talking about that there are these like two different reptilian whatever communities. I'm going to use the word communities. I don't know what else to say. I can't remember how he worded it. And so I'm going to start talking about the positive one. And he was saying that the government actually like works with these beings. They're extremely intelligent. They have a lot to teach us, whatever. And then then going back to ancient aliens. So this documentary was talking about like, okay, like let's talk about the fact that we, you know, in our world, we believe in gods and angels and demons and spirits. There's all these different kinds of things. Mm-hmm. But what if all these different kinds of things were just different kinds of extraterrestrials, right?
That's an interesting thought.
And
Mr. Cat, get out of there.
You're making a lot of noise, sir. He's so noisy. And, you know, okay, so there's religion, there's myths, there's legends, there, you know, there's these epic stories. Mm-hmm. Again, what if these are more than just stories? There's folklore. What if these are more than just stories? What if we look at these from the viewpoint that these are ETs visiting us, ETs having, you know, interacting with humans and having a part in our world history. So what I thought was interesting, and I never really... Wow, you have two cats on you now. Mr. Cat, what are you doing?
I told him to do it like 2 minutes ago.
Don't you drink Juliet's water. That's bubbly water. Oh my gosh. But there's all of... So in like every religion, there are stories and symbolism surrounding the serpent, which would connect to like reptilians. And so... This documentary was arguing that all religion is a result of an alien invasion. Oh my God, she's got both cats on her.
I invited him. I used my special star.
Put your camera on your phone so I can take a picture of you really quick. All over, you can look at, this was again showing different cultures in China and India and Mexico and all these different places. Other places in South America, in the Middle East, whatever. Everywhere you can find serpents in their symbolism, in their like religious artifacts in the art. And so this was arguing that these were this like reptilian race coming down, and again, like they were like, and okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, I get excited. So serpents represent symbolically like wisdom, knowledge, intelligence. If you look to the story of the Garden of Eden, like Eve and Adam were sort of blissfully ignorant of the realities of the world, and the snake tricking her into eating the apple was like, you're going to gain all of this knowledge, and knowledge as we know, makes life kind of hard. Like, have you ever learned something and you're like, oh, it would have been easier to not know that?
Right. Ignorance is bliss.
So that's sort of seen as a story where the serpent is evil, but that story tells us that like a serpent gave us like our own consciousness, like our way of how do I say it? Like our independent thought, our free will, if you know, like it gave us that knowledge. And all the major religions seem to have some sort of story that is reflective, like similar to this Garden of Eden story. And like the root of all major religions, as I think we've discussed before, like religions are all kind of the same. Like they, at the root of it, like we're supposed to be like loving human beings. And then the different but even just like the stories, when you look to the different stories and the different ancient texts, like again, they're all the same. It's so interesting. But so I think they said it was like before 5000 BC, before Christ, there was no major civilizations. We were all just kind of small hunter-gatherer groups. There was no coming together and creating a civilization. And then all of a sudden, at 5000 BC, these great civilizations started coming up. And so the idea is that the aliens, in this case saying the reptilians, came at 5000 BC and started giving us, you know, the ideas, the ways of being, the thoughts, the intelligence to form civilizations. Like, hey, like what if you did things this way? The technology to do it, to come together and stay in one place and form, you know, a civilization. Because that takes, you have to know a bunch of stuff. Before we would just move around to find what we needed. But if you're going to stay in one place, you have to put systems in place. So there's also like stories and what am I trying to say? Like art of beings that are human-like, but they have like serpent-like features, like no ears. It makes me think of like Lord Voldemort.
That's the first thing I pictured when you said it.
But they described them as like beings of light, and then there was all these descriptions of watchers. Like the beings of light had watchers, and that makes me think of like God and like angels. So there was like these different levels of these ETs coming, and you see the artwork of like the angelic figures with the halo around their head, like telling people to like leave a certain area before a disaster comes and stuff. These are the watchers, right? And they describe that these beings, you know, have they're teachers. They have healing powers. So just like there's like Jesus could come and he could heal. They're creators. But it was kind of saying all the same stuff as the documentary we both watched. But I thought it was really interesting that they dove really deep into this whole like serpent symbolism and this reptilian specifically race coming down. And there was also descriptions of like, so they weren't supposed to like intermix with it, like mate with us.
You know, a couple of them did.
They did. And then like, I don't know, like the God one, the one that we would call God, got mad, and that's why there was the Great Flood and the story of Noah's Ark. That they had to get rid of the half alien, half human. Like that's their whole take on like Noah's Ark. No
boogers.
Don't sneeze big. And just like different stories of different like larger biblical events, like David and Goliath. Describing that like that was like the giants were another like race of ETs that were here. And it was just so interesting. That was the one that was talking about the Book of Enoch and having all of these different examples. And it also had a lot of examples of the way that all over the world the base of words for like light is like L, and you can see like in names of historical figures, that L being in there, and like that was a being of light. Yeah, I don't know. It's incredible. I mean, it's not like the kind of proof that we can say like, yes, absolutely for sure. But to me, like seeing all of these different pieces of art from all over the world and these stories, and like taking a different viewpoint to like the stories of the Bible and the folklore and the myths and all of that, I was like, oh, like this is for sure. I'm convinced, like, yes, like aliens came down, we didn't understand, we were like, God. And that's how religion was formed. That makes sense to me.
My favorite thing about all of this is like, anybody watching us could be like, they're out of their minds. Like, that's not what happened. You weren't there either.
Were you there?
We don't know.
Yeah.
And I think about when people, you know, leave their legacies and they write their autobiographies and stuff, they leave some stuff out. You know what I mean? Like, even what we know is true. Sorry, mister, I'm just moving my leg. Even what we know is true, there's still pieces that are missing and get lost, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And it must be funny if our ancestors are like, no, we told you, like they came from the sky and da-da-da-da, and we're like, no, it's an angel. We're like, no, it's not an angel.
It was an
alien. Both their ears went back.
Like, what's mommy yelling about? Oh, both the siblings are in my lap.
You're so cute.
Oh, they're nice.
Yeah, so back to the guy that was so boring but was saying such interesting things. He was saying that these reptilians, the good ones, so to speak, they are very religious, but their religion is just simply that we are all one, including like with us, we are all one in the universe, and that is sacred. Like that interconnectedness is so sacred, and they take it very seriously, and that's why ultimately, like, I think, like, I have no fear of like an alien invasion. My worry is that ETs try to come back here. That's why I don't think they're around anymore. Like, they used to be able to come and go freely because humans didn't have the technology to like shoot them down.
We didn't have lasers and machine guns.
Yeah, humans automatically were dumbasses, and well, not us, but like our governments assume that something's like bad and gonna attack us, and people freak out, and so they're like, oh, we can't go because the humans are too stupid. Like, they can't handle us anymore. We were smarter back then. We were like, cool, God.
Right.
But I liked that he was able to speak on like, yeah, I mean, they just want to like love and support us. They know that we're the same as them. So I thought that was cool. Also, we are connected to them on a DNA level. We do have, what was he speaking? He was saying like how like people talk about like the reptile part of the brain or something. Have you heard about
like
that?
The reptilian.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
But
tell us in the comments.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll be able to add something more. But basically he was just saying like, we do share DNA with these ETs. Like, they're not some, like, we're not only all connected like on a spiritual level, like we are truly all connected. So I just thought that was cool, and that's why I liked, we didn't speak about it this time because we've spoken about in the past, but that Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind documentary so much, because it was so beautiful and spiritual and positive, and it was saying the same thing, beings of light. Like, there was literally photographic evidence of and video of Mr. Cat just stretched out on Juliet. Oh my gosh,
he's giving me some Reiki.
Good job, mister. But of these light around these people as they're like doing this, like, I don't know what you call it, like ritual to, you know, make contact. And they're making contact like on a spiritual level. It's not like on a physical level. It's like on a spiritual level. So it just confirms that like back then when we would call them beings of light and we thought that they were angels or gods or spirits or whatever, and now people are making contact with them in the modern day, and it's consistent. Like many of them are beings of light that come to us in the same form. It doesn't have to be like a big metal spaceship that comes down and aliens walk out of it. Still waiting on that Bachelorette visual, by the way.
Yes, thank you in advance for that drawing of us as the Bachelorettes and aliens dating us in tuxedos with roses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But it doesn't have to be like that. Like we can, and there are many that, you know, channel and connect with them on this energetic, like spiritual level. And I just think that's so cool.
We weren't there. We don't know. Watch Chariot of the Gods. I think you'll really like it. If you want to sort of start dipping into like, oh, ancient aliens. Okay, I'll embrace that a little bit. Watch Chariot of the Gods. I'm telling you, like, you're not going to roll your eyes. It's very... this is me coming from like my groundest realist perspective. You'll really enjoy it. And then if you want to get a little more fun with it, do the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Even Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, I felt like was so grounded still, because the guy used to work for the government. He does like studies and studies and studies. So it is another step a little bit more out there, but it's still so grounded to me.
And it's so loving. And by the way, Sadie and I and Craig went out to the beach and did this tactic that he teaches in Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And it worked.
Yep.
We saw a very strange flying object doing all sorts of weird little ziggy zags and...
Yep, up and down and back and forth. And yeah, that's kind of how you know if you're going to go out and look at the night sky. Is we don't have aircrafts that can go backward and forward and up and down really fast.
Right.
So if something is like darting around in different directions, that's your big clue that you're seeing something unidentified. And actually, well, I don't know if she wants us to say it or not. So, but a listener sent us a really cool video that maybe I think I can save it and like share it on the Instagram. I'll wait till this is uploaded.
Yes.
But really cool video of very clear, like it just looks like a ball of light, but it's just darting all over the place.
I was like, what
could that possibly be, you know?
What?
So it's very cool. Yeah. And I haven't really seen anything else. I have people that I know that have seen like actual like the flying saucer that you imagine type thing, but it's always like I saw it in the corner of my eye, and when I looked it was gone, and so they kind of convinced themselves out of it.
We did hear that story on Girls' Night.
Yeah,
she saw something and then
I'm waiting for my big one like that.
There will be a special episode dedicated to that.
I keep asking, not getting it.
Well, we will. It's gonna happen. I mean, if two girls are gonna get like an extraordinary alien experience.
I didn't say this in my update, but I actually should share something with you. So I've been feeling a little crazy lately because I've been seeing and hearing things.
Oh, let's talk about that.
And I actually asked it to stop because it was scaring me.
Okay.
Because I didn't like it. I've been asking for a long time, and then I was like, I got scared. So I've just been seeing a lot of like balls of energy, like I'll turn and it'll be right in front of me and then it'll dart away. And it makes me jump. It's like it's not like a, you know, when you're looking at a light and you see a sunspot or something, like it's something that like spooks me. And I've been seeing them as like dark shadows too, and I don't really like that because I don't feel any bad energy, but I'm just like, to me, seeing a dark shadow doesn't associate to something positive, so I asked to not see that anymore. Okay. Because I would jump, I'd be like, oh, like it freaked me out, and I was home alone all weekend, and I kept seeing and hearing stuff. But then, so I've been having really vivid dreams. If you remember, for a while I was getting frustrated that I wasn't dreaming, and then I couldn't remember my dreams, and now I've started vivid dreaming, and not remembering all of them, but remembering a lot of them. And so it's like it's at the point where I'm waking up, so I'm not deep asleep, I'm like awake, so like I know I'm aware of like my bedroom, Boo on the bed, that stuff, you know, like I'm awake enough.
Okay.
And I hearing voices very clearly. I can't remember what they were saying. I don't think it was in English.
Okay.
But it was so like not in my brain. It was so loud. Like, you know, when we hear stuff like clairaudiently, it didn't feel like that.
Okay.
And I could have just been simply dreaming, but it happened like 3 mornings in a row. And that doesn't make sense to me. But it scared me. So I asked that to stop. And as soon as I asked it to stop, it did.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was. And I'm going to ask if that was something positive. Please, you know, feel free to come back, but slow down a little or communicate with me in a different way because I don't understand. But it was just so strange. I just never experienced it like that. Like I used to get night terror. It was like that. It was like when I would be falling asleep and get a night terror and I could hear stuff outside of me. But it wasn't like I would hear like demon voices, like night terror stuff. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
But it was outside myself. And I couldn't really understand it. And there was 2 different voices that I could hear.
Wow.
And one sounded more masculine and one sounded more feminine. But I don't know. I have no idea what it was.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When I was like 12 or 13, something turned on where I was seeing things and hearing things, and that same thing. I was like, no thank you.
I know, I'm like, I should be okay with this because, but I've never had that happen. It's always just been like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm asking for it now. And it started happening without my, like, asking for it. You know what I mean?
Well, spirits, you know, it has to be a consensual experience.
And it was just funny because I'd be like, huh, like I was just getting spooked all the time. And it wasn't anything like I felt like it was like bad energy or whatever. But I was just like, I don't like turning around and being spooked.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's enough. I don't know if there's fairies in here or what. I know they're a little mischievous, but they stopped, whatever it was.
All right, well, you'll have to keep us updated.
But yeah, I need to kind of meditate and be like, okay, whatever that was, if you'd like to come, if you have, you know, positive, good intentions, you have something to tell me, that's great. I'm open to it. I just have no idea what you were trying to tell me before. So you need to try differently, a different way.
Well, that's so interesting. I have not had that. There's nothing floating around my apartment, I don't think. I don't think it's something like residual from the apartment. It's just like channeling through
something new around me, or
okay.
I don't know. And again, it doesn't feel bad, but it would just be like, it'd just be so like real. You know what I mean? Like it'd just be like, oh, like I wasn't expecting something to be there, and then it would like very clearly. The other day I stopped because I almost walked into it, and I was like, oh, sorry. Like I was like, sorry, because I almost ran into it.
Pardon me.
Like, because I was walking through the door and I was like, oh shit, like there's something there I'm gonna run into, and then it wasn't, you know.
Comment below if you've had a similar experience or if you have any advice for that experience.
Hearing voices or seeing things, they're like, go to a psychiatrist.
They're like, that sounds like a deeper problem. No, I think it's just you opening up more.
Yeah, I haven't been doing...
Nope,
oh my God,
she's gonna fall.
I haven't been doing many readings lately. And I keep getting this like nudge that I... Boo is licking Mr. Cat's head. Oh my God.
There is just a love fest happening.
Wait, I gotta get drinking. Oh my God. Oh my God, keep going.
Oh, he likes it.
Sorry about this.
He likes it.
They never do this. Mr. Cat is Boo is grooming Mr. Cat. Oh my God. Boo, you're such a good sister.
Oh, this is love.
You know, I've been joking with them, as in my cat's talking to them, that, oh my God, there she goes. I'm like, are you guys shifting from a sibling relationship to like a boyfriend-girlfriend thing? Because they've been really cuddly lately and like very like flirty. Like how they play is like very like cute. They're like, no, you stop. Oh my God, she's going to town.
Oh my God.
Oh. Well, we got enough footage of that. I just have to send that to Craig. He's gonna die. Oh my!
You're gonna cuddle up next to your brother. Oh, good job. Wait, you gotta get this one.
Oh, go ahead. Don't mind me. Kiss.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, this is a love affair.
Boo. Do you have a crush on your brother?
Oh, what's he doing? What is?
Oh, is he biting her?
Yeah, don't bite. Don't ruin the mood. Okay, now they're licking each other. Oh. He doesn't know how to feel about this. He's like, we don't normally do this.
Like, what's happening?
Oh god, no, don't bite her. Don't bite her.
She's like, don't.
Don't bite her. She was just trying to love on you.
Oh my god.
She's just trying to love on you.
Little paws on you, mister. That's cute. Guys. Oh my god. Well, anyways, I guess that's the end of this episode.
Yeah, we have a cat love affair that we need to watch.
We'll leave that in the video, but maybe we'll cut it out of the audio.
Yeah. Sounds good.
The video will cut in this footage, the phone footage, so you can see, oh, she's making some beans, some biscuits.
Oh gosh.
Guys, oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys. Let us know what you thought about the alien episode, and what else do you want us to go study and learn about? This was fun. I like having homework and like
I know, I do too.
I think it would be fun to do an episode where we're like, ask us anything. It can be about woo-woo, it can be about personal, it can be about us. So maybe we'll put a little thing up on Instagram and you can submit cues.
That'd be fun for next week.
I don't know why I said cues. Questions. I didn't have enough time to say questions. I could only say cues. But I think that'd be kind of fun to do like a Ask Us Anything. It can be about goddessy stuff or just for fun. I feel like that'd be a fun episode.
I would love that. It'd be fun to get a little more personal.
Personal.
I mean, the cats definitely got more personal.
The cats are, wow. I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah, I'm like...
Boo's just laying across Juliet, just so relaxed.
This is a momentous day, you guys.
Wow, you guys are really something. All right. Well, follow us on Instagram at goddesshangs. I am Sadie Olson.
I am at juliet.piper.
Make sure you subscribe. Please leave us a review. It helps us so much.
Thank you.
Share with a friend. That also helps us so much. Mm-hmm. And let us know what you thought. Let us know what you want to hear more about. We're here for you. We love you. Thank you.
We're here. Oh, now he's grooming my hands.
Oh, yeah, he does that. Big
Okay.
time. He loves doing that.
All right. Well.
All right. Bye.